Hello guys and welcome back to Gemini Gamers. So, as you can see and probably assume, both things didn't go exactly according to plan. When this series started, I wanted to basically do every episode on live commentary. I wanted to make sure that every single one of the episodes I made had me doing a live reaction and a live commentary. So, as you can probably tell, this is not that. Okay, the gameplay is running really fast compared to the rest of the thing, and if I was playing at this speed, and if my computer could actually run at this speed, the game at least, things would be a lot smoother, I think, honestly, and you guys wouldn't complain so much about me going so slow. But anyway, as you can see, this is the episode where we invade the USSR. The last episode you saw was when I defeated France. But I probably stated in that episode I was going to prepare for the Russian invasion. But, you know, I decided not to release those episodes because, as you can probably tell, there really wasn't much those preparations did for me in reality, okay? So, as you can see right now, things look alright. They look like they're going alright. Like, we got Lithuania back. We took it back easily. We surrounded a couple Soviet troops here and there, and we're defending really nicely. We lose a little bit of territory there, but it's alright. Down in the north especially, it's looking like it's gonna be fine. I'm concentrating on that, and everything's just fine. Everything's doing well, everything's going fine. But then I start looking at the stuff that's happening down the south, and it's not looking too well. And especially in the middle, we didn't move much in the middle area of the front. So, you know, we just didn't do well, and our Air Force wasn't able to keep air superiority over the large territories, and that kind of cost a lot of time. So as you can see, we're already struggling there. Like, our troops are already really well spread out, and they can't really push very well anymore. So it takes a little bit of an effort, but I do manage to take a lot of territory in the start. Okay, I do manage to take a lot of territory at the start, but things start slowing down really quickly. Very fast, actually. Things start going downhill very fast. As you can see there, we keep taking territory, and we keep getting pushed back and stuff like that. So it's not the best of battles, okay? It's not really the best, and things aren't going really well. Especially once the northern offensive grinds to a halt, which is about to do right now. We stop really gaining any territory at this point. So as you can see right there, we start actually getting pushed back. We can't really surround any more divisions there. So we start struggling up there, but we do end up having a very successful northern front, I guess you could say, fight up there. And yeah, so as you can see, the Air Force is struggling there to keep any sort of air superiority. The game is starting to lag more and more as we get deeper and deeper. And yeah, we do end up destroying a good number of Soviet divisions on the whole battle, but it never gets to the point where they have less than 2 or 3 divisions in the front in a single province. It never does. And that really grinded down my army. And I failed to realize that the Soviets get a bunch of boosts during that first winter of the war. So your best choice is to start the war as soon as the winter goes by. As soon as March goes by, you can kick off the war and go as deep as you can during that time. But I didn't realize this during the whole gameplay. The whole game I was playing, I didn't realize this until I was practicing my practice runs in the later time period. So this has actually been recorded a long time after I recorded this footage. The footage you're watching was originally over 2 hours long, and I actually took out a couple episodes that were just repetitive. And I lost a little bit of footage because of reasons, and you won't see one of the most successful episodes during the whole invasion. So yeah, one of the episodes that I lost was where we actually do a lot of territorial gains, but yeah, it doesn't go well. As you can see, we're not doing very well. It's already October 1941. By this time, Germany probably already took Kiev or something like that. I don't know, or at least Minsk. You know, Minsk is an easy city to take. At least I thought it was. But, you know, it's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous because the supply was just horrible. And it's not like I had more than the divisions that I needed. Like, you know, I had like 100 infantry divisions in one province. No, I had like, what? My invasion force was smaller than what normally I invade with. I actually put infantry divisions here and there when I can. A whole field marshal with infantry divisions across the whole line to help defend and take territory when they needed to. And as you can see right now, the invasion just started and we already have a deficit in guns. A 10,000 deficit in guns, and the invasion just started. It hasn't even been a year, and we're already grinding down there. So yeah, and as you can see across the whole front, once this thing clicks off, across the whole front, we're not really doing anything anymore. We grinded to a halt. We really did, and we barely gained a province. Like down in the southern portion, we barely took a little province ahead of the border. As you can see, the little red line there is where we were at. And when the winter starts passing almost all the way, the Russians actually launch an offensive. And that pushes me back to basically where we started. And that is just ridiculous for me, because I worked hard. I thought I did, at least. And we had done a couple we surrounded a couple divisions here and there, and I assumed that things were going well, but nah, we were just getting bombed and bombed and bombed, and it was just ridiculous. It really was. And again, I think I started in small offensive, doing it by myself. I got a little bit optimistic there with that battle plan, but it never happens. We never reach Moscow, I'll tell you that. We take Leningrad and Sevastopol and Kiev, I think, but that's pretty much it. And after that, things just don't go well. We just run out of supply. My divisions just run out of supply. And the initial thing that kind of killed me was that the first 2 days of the first couple months of the war was just ridiculous. And that's understandable, but it shouldn't require you to have more than the divisions to defeat the Soviet Union. It shouldn't require you to have more of the divisions that you can have in the freaking states. For real. I had in one of my practices runs, I had a situation where I couldn't keep pushing forward because there was just no supply. There was just no supply, and we hadn't even taken Minsk, of all things. We hadn't even reached Minsk, and I was out of supply. I couldn't do it. And I get that. But when the Soviets on the other side have 100 divisions against 8 divisions that have no supply on my side, and it was a whole state, it was a whole line where we couldn't really do anything, and that's when it really got me pissed off there. And we just didn't have the supply. The attrition was so high that my divisions were like 90% of my divisions couldn't even enter the state. And it was a huge portion. It was a huge portion of the state. It was a huge portion, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening, and things are just not going well. And here, look, we surrounded a couple more divisions. I'm happy times. But we struggle, and we failed to surround them. So, it keeps happening. My divisions just can't hold the attacks. They can't hold the attacks. And the Soviets get a massive, and I mean a massive boost from having to attack, basically destroy, just attack during the first winter, and it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of a boost. They get 100% an attack. Their attacks is twice as much as they normally would, and that just decimates you, man. It decimates you, and that's not the way it should be. It really shouldn't be that way, but it's just the way it was. And then Japan was like, I'm not going to declare war on you and stuff like that. And it just wasn't going to happen. I should have realized this by this point. It wasn't going to happen. I know with a couple tank divisions, I'm going to try an attack with only tank divisions. That didn't work very well. I was very optimistic. As you can see, I wanted to cross into Wilno, take Wilno, and then basically keep going. But, as you can see, we just can't do it. We can't do it. Their defense is just massive. They're massive. And then they look at that. Look at those values. You can click back and look at those values, and they're ridiculous. They are very ridiculous. I get it. It's the winter. They should be able to defend. But we're not in a position where that we would need to. Our supply lines are very short. And yeah, it just goes south. It goes south really fast. We don't have the oil to fight. And I get that. That was a real problem. But when look at that. 2 of my divisions are getting demolished right there. Look how many divisions the Soviets have in the front, in the line. Look how many they have, and look how many I have. And I wouldn't be complaining about it. But when I try to put more divisions on the line, and then supply lines get shut down because of ridiculous reasons, then you start complaining, and that's kind of why I am complaining right now. And I wasn't too angry when I was playing the game. If I actually play, I'm probably this is not gonna be the last episode. I'm gonna play another episode after this. I mean, you'll know. If it says final in this episode, it's over. If it doesn't say final in this episode, then you're good to go. You can go ahead and watch the other episode when it comes out. So, I was kind of optimistic at the end of that other episode, of this episode, of the series actually. I was kind of optimistic. I was like, okay, yeah, we made a couple mistakes, and yeah, I knew I made mistakes, because of course I did mistakes. It was the first time I played. But I played it once more, And it was pretty similar results. It actually was kind of worse, and I played everything as well as I could. I put a lot more resources towards my Air Force. But my Air Force never really could take air superiority because of territorial sizes, especially since the Soviet Union is so big. And again, I kind of get that too. But it's just not. It was not a good thing. It really wasn't fun when you declare war on them at that point, because it's like it's grinding. It really is. And then it was kind of realistic. This run was kind of realistic because you'll see how far we get in the end, and we take most of the pretty large cities that the Germans did take, and that's fine. And overall it was okay. I still have to make my opinion on whether you should try this or not. But you should check it out when I upload that. It'll be uploaded after the final episode here. That will be uploaded soon. Don't worry. So overall, it went alright. Okay, I'm complaining a lot, but it did go okay. It went okay. We actually get invaded in Denmark, of all things. I don't even know how or why. How the Allies can get through the stupid strait. Once you take Denmark, the Allies can't go into the Baltic Sea because of game mechanics for some reason. They just can't do it. But for some reason here, they start doing it, and that causes some issues later on. So the game starts to really get glitchy here. That's why I lost a couple bits of footage. I don't know why it got glitchy. In my second run, it didn't get glitchy, but here it did, and I don't know why. But maybe it would have been a little bit better. As you can see, we actually overran some divisions there. That was incredible, wasn't it? Yeah, we encircled a big chunk of divisions. It was actually like 4 divisions. And look at this. Look at this. There's this large ally landing. I'm like, oh god, this is going to be the end, isn't it? No, the Allies actually pull out for some reason. I don't know why they end up pulling out, but they did. And I'm not complaining, okay? I'm not complaining. I keep doing research in the hope that I'm going to get a little boost out of it for some reason. But I don't. I actually ended up getting worse off with the research because I end up needing more supplies than I have. I don't have enough factories to defeat them. So you can see I'm trying to desperately push the Allies out with an extra army that I had. And it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. But I'm thinking maybe here we can push a little bit further, get a better line defending. And I do end up launching a small offensive in the northern side of the front. And I actually end up encircling about 50 or 60 divisions down in the southern border with Hungary. Since Hungary and Romania are my allies, the Soviets can't really pass through there. So I do a little retreat there. It's the first of many retreats that I will be doing later on, you'll see. So anyway, I retreat out a little bit, make sure that the Black Army, which is the SS Army, keeps control of that area. Or at least holds them until Rommel can get into a better position to defend. But I do end up encircling. I don't show it because the game crashed, of course it did. So I end up encircling a large portion. It was around 50 divisions, 50 Soviet divisions, and I counted. I even added them all up when I attacked. There was probably more because you know how when troops are retreating, you can't really count them in the battle. So yeah, I encircled that little group. And I'm thinking, okay, well, since they're encircled, I can launch an offensive, right? And I do launch an offensive. We get to a point where I'm thinking, okay, we might be able to win. We might be actually able to pull this off. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. We just ran out of supply. We struggled through the whole thing. We launched an offensive here, and everything seems to be going really successfully, right? Green attacks, everything's going just fine. But once they start moving in, things just don't go well. Once we start moving in, things don't go well. As you can see, our offensive already stalled out there. And the Soviets start attacking back in the south. So yeah, it's just not. It wasn't the best game. It wasn't the best game. I think if I had done what I did in the second run that I did personally, I made a second little run. If I had done that personally, I think personally that I could have probably won in the second one if things have gone the way things went here, where the Soviets seem to be having supply issues in some areas. The second time I tried to run this, I had so much trouble, and it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, we end up getting surrounded there and low, but we actually pull out. We actually are able to get some of the troops out, I think. Yeah, look, we relink and I pull out of low. If I lost divisions there, I probably would have quit it, honestly. So you can see, you can start seeing the beginnings of them actually getting surrounded there, here and there. So I tried really hard to do that, and I actually had a successful thing there. As I said before, we get attacked by British commandos, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then we actually hold that line for a little while. And yeah, we're getting closer and closer to making a nice little surroundment there, and we do it, and we do destroy a lot of Soviet divisions. I think by the end of everything, we killed actually over 15 million men, Soviet men. Before I ended up, just quitting, because I had to. It was a grind, and again, I had so much footage, hours and hours of footage, and I was like, how the hell am I gonna release all this? I couldn't do it, and then everything got messed up, and that's why I'm making this mega episode. This is the second mega episode I ever made in my life, at least in Hearts of Iron 4. So, yeah, I tried everything. As you can see, I make another offensive in the north. The divisions there, for some reason, kind of retreated or something. I guess they went to the south to try to reinforce that line, but I actually end up attacking and end up encircling more and more divisions there. So those encirclements are a big boost. They're a big boost. They really are. They really are. So as you can see, I think I already encircled the southern portion. I think we had a time skip there because of the lost footage that I had issues there. So I end up pushing hard. And for some reason, the Soviets get a freaking boost in spirit or something like that, and we end up struggling there again. So it's a pain in the butt. It really is a pain in the butt, and I keep trying my best. And it's just not happening. It's not happening. But I think pretty much here soon is when we're gonna have another major time skip where we actually have a massive breakthrough, and you start to think, wow, he might actually win, right? Nah. It just doesn't happen. My division's run out of supply. And I think that was the problem, where I said if I had done the stuff differently that I did in the second run that I played, I probably would have been victorious because my divisions would have had more supply. Because the way the front kind of progressed was like in an angle, so not all the divisions were like stacked in one state. There was more states across the thing, and the divisions further back had more supply, which is weird, right? Yeah. So anyway, again, I complain a lot, but I have a point, because the Soviets, their infrastructure is so low. It's so low once you take it, and it's damaged. I get it, it's damaged. But once you repair it, you're stupid. And there we occupy Vichy France, which is, I was like scared because we were not gonna cover the southern side with divisions we don't have anymore. But I actually end up having taken the Vichy army into my army, so that works out. So it's all good. But anyway, I keep going, keep trying, and then we end up taking Estonia up there. And all the Baltic states are now under my control. At least I think, for that matter, that was a major success. At least I assumed it was, but it didn't really work out. So I'm trying to do another major encirclement there, but my troops just end up getting bogged down, and they end up losing a couple divisions on the attack. They just disappear. They attack so much, they full on disappear forever. And that gets me thinking that maybe I should have been more careful. So yeah, and then we take Minsk and stuff like that, and then we get our Admiral Readers fired for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not too sure why. And they're not really into all that naval stuff. But yeah, we keep trying. We change directions, we change movements, we change positions, we change everything. And I don't know what else I could have done, really. I started running out of trucks and tanks, and that was basically, once that started happening, I was like, I know it's over. It's basically over at that point. And yeah, so that Vichy army got me out of a big problem that comes up later on. You're gonna probably see it here soon. I don't notice it until it's kind of a little bit too late. The Allies actually take the capital of Denmark back, and then they end up dropping a couple hundred divisions in Denmark. Like full-on Allied invasion in Denmark. So I have to deal with that, and that causes... As you can see, already up there, you can see it. I didn't notice it. Until it was a little bit too late. But I do manage to take care of it, though. And things go well, I think, up there. I mean, I do get pushed back and stuff like that, but I do manage to keep it under control, I guess. That we don't lose because of that. We lose because of the Soviets. The Soviets were pushing in hard on me. And then I started thinking, maybe I should call the Italians up because they do have a lot of divisions still since they're doing so well in Africa. I'm surprised they did well. In the second run, they didn't do as well. And there, I noticed it. I'm like panicking and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm going to take a couple of divisions here and move them to that front over there. And, you know, I start panicking. Because I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm actually might lose. So I moved the SS army over there, trying to do something with that. Well, it was like a mixture of SS divisions that we get from the focus tree and some other divisions. I'm like, now I'm just trying to prevent a major surroundment there. I'm trying to take back Minsk that we lost. Then we got another motivational speech thing that can be made to anybody else. So yeah, it's bad. It didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. After this, we make the major offensive, and somehow that gets really deep into. I don't know how it did, but in reality, we didn't really get that much deeper. I mean, we get into the Ukraine, but that's pretty much all we do. We take the Ukraine. That's it. That's all we do. We managed to take the Ukraine, and that's the end of it. So, you know, it was a pain in the butt. It really was. So, yeah. Yeah, it's not going well. Here, I think we're getting to that point where the new footage pops up. The other episode. I was still doing episodes, but then I look at the folder, and there were so many episodes that I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And then I'm like planning on a retreat now because I'm panicking. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I'm going to start building forts, and those forts take a damn ass long time to build. So long that I decided to just start building some other stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna be ready for when they come. So, you know, it was just bad. It was bad in general. It was just bad in general. I couldn't really do much. Once the invasion started, here we go. There's the skip in time. So, as you can see, same game. I was like, oh god, we're so close. We even have a plan to take Moscow, but it just doesn't happen. As you can see, the divisions actually are showing, and at that point, I think, wow, we might be able to win because we're on some spots we're on one against the Soviet divisions, right? At least I assume that, but I guess they had retreated because a lot more divisions pop up later, and I start thinking, what am I doing? So yeah, I start an offensive, and some spots we start kicking butt. As you can see, we start going into Crimea there, but yeah, in some areas my divisions just can't attack anymore because of supplier issues and stuff. So yeah. So then the Denmark issue up there, I managed to stop it. So I make a rush for Sevastopol. Really, I don't know really why, but I just wanted to have a victory. You know what I mean? I wanted to have something. But it wasn't the best. It really wasn't. So yeah, we continue moving forward. We try to make a flank there. I'll flank the Russians through the south, through southern Crimea there, and it just doesn't happen. Rommel's army's kind of stuck. And yeah, we start attacking some spots, but they get reinforced. They get entrenched so hard, man. They do. It's bad. It's just bad. Just get so many divisions. I don't know where they get them from. They started 400 divisions, and I think the lowest in population, I dropped them to like 18 million. I mean, not 18. It's like 4 or 5 million from 7 million. So we killed a lot of them in the field of their field army, but they were just still too strong. And as you can see, everything stalled out. There, look, I'm attacking with hundreds of divisions, like with 4 divisions to 1 province, and it's just stalled. It is stalled as hell, and it just they didn't want to move, and I actually ended up trying to get more population because we're having issues with manpower at this point, because we're draining our manpower. Every time we attack, we lose more men than the Russians are at this point. Even though the Russians did lose a lot more men. They did lose, overall they did lose a lot more men, but they are starting to beat me out of it at this point. And I realized that, and then stupid little resistance divisions start popping up, which is kind of annoying. And then Finland actually joins me. But they don't make any real offensive until it's too late. When I make my final retreat because I'm getting pushed back, it's too late. They make an offensive, and they basically almost take all of the northern little thing up there, the little territory up there. I almost managed to do that, but by that point it's too late. There's really nothing we can do. I'm already in the retreat. I don't think you get to see the retreat here, but I think I do end up retreating a little bit because my divisions get bogged down so bad that they end up struggling. And they end up getting pushed back, and I was worried I'm gonna get surrounded. So I end up pulling back. And when we do pull back, Soviets just come in, and that's pretty much it. End of story at that point. But we got close. We got really close. We almost got to Moscow. I think we would have taken Moscow. It would have been a big hit. For morale, for me, you know, I know morale isn't a thing in the game, but for me it would have been a big hit, and I would have assumed that maybe we were close to victory. So yeah, I start building more guns because we still have we have a massive deficit in guns, and as you can see, my manpower is just dropping in real time at this point. So it's not it's not looking too good. And again, look at that. The Soviets managed to reinforce all their front, and they have more divisions on the front now. And look, I still don't have air superiority in the Ukraine. I have more planes in there, but they still can't get it for some reason. It's ridiculous. It really is, and I end up having 2 tank divisions surrounded up there. I managed to break them out, but, you know, whatever happens, happens, really. I mean, at that point, who gives a crap? I think I'd rather be defeated by the Allies than the Russians at this point, so... Yeah, I'm making my final big push, I think, at this point. I think I'm going to make a final big push, I think. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I make another offensive during the whole game. I think that's it. I think I call the Italians up to the war, but they basically caused more supply issues. In this game, I didn't have any supply issues, like not as many as I thought I would. But then they start struggling down there. I'm trying to like make a flank there, and then the Soviets launch a counteroffensive, and I start losing territory like crazy. Look at that. There's bits everywhere. I don't have the divisions to cover it. Yeah, so that's it. That's it. After that little offensive, I'm like, crap. This is it. I try to like really fast to like really in a fast manner to pull out Rommel out of Crimea, but most of his divisions end up getting stuck in that little territory down there. They almost make it, but then they just keep getting stuck, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lose a little bit of territory. It's fine, right? It's fine. 1944. It's okay. It's all okay. It's no big deal, right? Nah, it's just not. It wasn't gonna happen. Look, I just couldn't get out. I couldn't get out, and then my their stupid fleet actually ended up getting stationed there, so I can't really get out at that point. I'm thinking it's time to call everybody up, so I call everyone up. Doesn't really do much, as you can probably tell from my. But anyway, guys, that's all for now. I think you guys will probably get to see the next episode, the last episode of the series, where I basically explain more into detail because I was more fresh. At that point, I was actually playing the game. But anyway, at this point, you see what things are going downhill. But yeah, I tried my best, and things didn't work out in the end. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and watch the next episode if you're out. If you're not, then whatever. Wait for it. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.